Before I start, I have to mention that this video is split into two parts. The first part will be my review of K-pop Demon Hunters, while the second part will be me expressing my thoughts on the state of original films. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into this video. I wouldn't say that I'm the biggest K-pop fan. I mean, if you put a gun to my head and tell me to name at least 10 K-pop groups, I'd tell you to pull the trigger. However, when I tell you that K-pop Demon Hunters is an almost near masterpiece of a film, I would not be lying. Created by Maggie Kang and Chris Applehands, K-pop Demon Hunters follows a world-renowned K-pop girl group called Huntrix, who by day are K-pop idols, but at night are demon hunters. The title may be a bit, on the nose, but whatever. The main conflict of the movie involves this demon boy K-pop group called the Saja Boys, whose goal is to steal the souls of the fans, which powers this barrier called the Hunmoon, which prevents demons from entering their world. When I first heard about this movie, I was a little skeptical. Again, I wasn't the biggest fan of K-pop, so I wasn't sure if I was going to enjoy this movie that much. However, just based on the animation and one of the songs I heard, I decided to give it a go, as I thought it would at least be a fun watch. And I'm so happy I made the decision because not only is this movie a fun watch, but it also has a lot of heart to it with a surprisingly compelling story that I wasn't expecting from this movie. So, why don't we start? While the Saja boys and Guima, who I'm assuming is the ruler of the demon world, are the main villains of the movie, we also have some internal conflicts to deal with between the three main girls of Huntrix, Rumi, Zoe, and Mira. I should mention that this video will contain spoilers for this movie, so you have been warned. I recommend you give it a try though for yourselves, as I did find this movie really enjoyable. Alright, so pretty early on in the movie, we find out that the lead singer of the group, Rumi, is part demon, which already sets up the internal conflict of this movie. This conflict being Rumi trying to hide her demon patterns from her friends in fear of being treated differently or just outright rejected by them, which is something that is being constantly brought up in the movie through her strange connection with the main demon boy, Jinu, and throughout the songs in this movie. One example being the song Golden, where she sings, "Put these patterns all in the past now and finally live like the girl they all see." And when the other two girls finally find out about the patterns, they do exactly what Rumi feared and reject her, leaving Rumi to run away back to her parental figure, Celine, and essentially begs her to take herself out, which is something I really wasn't expecting this movie to touch on. Of course, at the end of the movie, the three girls do make up, but the deep emotions that scene had really just make it stand out compared to the rest of the movie, probably making it my favorite moment. To be honest, all of the third act of the movie was absolutely phenomenal, and it really feels like such a dramatic tone shift. However, while I do love, and I mean love, what the movie did with the characters of Rumi and Jinu, everyone else kind of felt lackluster. Let's start off with the other two girls, Mira and Zoe, who we don't really know anything about. Yes, we get bits and pieces of their life and some of their insecurities in the movie, but none of it is really explored to the same lengths as Rumi's, and there are a number of reasons for that. The movie's runtime is pretty short. Rumi is the de facto main character, and you could say their problems aren't as big as Rumi's, but again, this leaves Mira and Zoe's characters feeling underdeveloped. If this movie was a show, then maybe that would change things, but as it stands, Mira and Zoe's characters don't have a lot going for them, besides their charm and chemistry between each other, which is still stellar. The three girls bounce off each other well and really feel like a found family in a way. Going back to the positives, there was no way I couldn't talk about this movie without bringing up the animation and music. Yes, the animation is good. Of course it's good. The characters are expressive and the action is quick, flashy, and exciting. I mean, what else should we expect from Sony, who have weirdly been on a roll when it comes to stylized 3D animation? And the music, wow. Every song in this movie is good. Literally every single one is at least an 8 out of 10. My top 3 favorite songs in this movie are definitely How It's Done, Golden, and Your Idol. Now, before we end the review section of this video, I do have one more problem with this movie. That sadly being the humor. Listen, I'm sorry to the people who found this movie hilarious, but none of the jokes really were doing it for me. Maybe I'm being cynical or something, but I just didn't really find the movie that funny, and actually kind of found it cringe at some points. It felt like they were trying too hard, is what I'm trying to say. Now, I wouldn't really consider this a fair criticism, considering the fact that all humor is subjective, but it did kind of make the first bits of the movie difficult to get through. The worst of this was the doctor scene. That wasn't funny at all. That was just difficult to watch and honestly kind of unnecessary. However, besides that, this movie was overall great. While not perfect in my eyes, it had a lot of potential. I'd give the movie a 7.8 out of 10. With a longer runtime, or if it was in a TV show format, it would be closer to a 9. But it's still an incredible movie, which I highly recommend. Now, with the release and massive success of this movie, I was reminded that an animated theatrical movie came out the same day, that movie being Pixar's newest movie, Elio. While I haven't watched this movie yet, and quite frankly have no plans on watching it, I couldn't help but wonder how the movie is doing in the box office. And let's just say the movie is kind of a flop. So, do people actually want original movies? Yes, the answer is yes. And the release of K-pop Demon Hunters proves this point. While the story contains elements that you've seen in hundreds of other stories, it still has its own original concept with original characters, which makes this an original movie. Yes, Elio, another original film, is doing terribly in the box office, but you guys do realize that Disney isn't the only company making movies. Another example of a successful original movie that came out this year would be Sinners. Yes, I know it's not animated, but it's original and it was a success. There's this loud ass siren. So how come Elio flopped, but K-pop Demon Hunters grew a massive fandom overnight? I actually have 3 reasons for you. Number 1, marketing. This movie was barely marketed. I almost forgot it was coming out. And if I almost forgot, there are probably millions of people who have no idea what this movie is. I'm not saying that means the movie's bad. I mean, I've heard pretty good things about it. I'm just saying Disney and Pixar aren't doing the best job at making this movie known, and we're honestly pretty late to it. Number 2, the budget of this movie. This movie cost $300 million to make. What? There was no way this movie was going to make back this budget considering how little marketing they did. I don't even understand how this movie cost that much to make. I think I heard something like the entire story getting changed, but $300 million is a lot. And number 3, people have kind of just lost faith in Disney. With live action remake after live action remake to bad musical after bad musical, people have just found it hard to trust Disney enough to make a good film. And movie tickets are expensive these days. I mean, I'd rather spend my money on a movie that I have faith in rather than a movie by a studio who has had many misses these days. But that's all I have to say. Again, sorry for disappearing for a few months. What can I say? Gotta focus on academics, you know? Maybe I can release at least 10 videos before the year is over. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time, hopefully. Remember to stay safe, have fun, and listen to K-pop, I guess. Bye!